Yo, it's Tuesday, so you know what that means we're going 0 to 60 faster than Jalen Hurts can throw an interception and fumble on the same play. Yes,
That's pretty fast.
yes, welcome to all Open Sports Mike. Joining me back from eating too much cheese and watching his Bears play the Packers in the NFL's best rivalry. Ken, the Bear fan. So Ken, both of our teams played rivalry games against hated divisional foes, and nothing beats Bears Packers, right?
There were a lot of great divisional rival games this weekend. But yeah, Bears Packers is the oldest of the group. Probably the most. I know there'll be disagreement with some people in the NFC, AFC North, but it's probably the most contested of the rivalries. But what a game! And it came down to the wire, as good games do. I mean, that came down to basically the last play, second to last play, I guess, of the game, because Green Bay had to take a knee for the final play, but it came down to the wire. And it's week 15. 3 games this week in week 15 were for division leads. All three were big division rivalry games. I mean, I would say the Bears Packers is the biggest rivalry, followed by the Ravens Steelers rivalry, followed by the Jacksonville Indianapolis rivalry. You know, if you were to order those three rivalries, and look, the Jacksonville rivalry, I mean, come on, they're not that old. That's why it's last place of the three. The other two are much older with much more deeper history. The funny thing about Jacksonville, and I've been to Jags Colts games in Jacksonville. The Jags own the Colts in Jacksonville over the last decade or so. I mean,
2014 was the last time the Colts won in Duval.
yeah, and you know what? That was a Peyton Manning game. No, it wasn't. Peyton Manning game was the 2009, was that 14-win season where I was at that game in Duval. But yeah, it's so I mean that's not really much of a, and it wasn't even a close game. It was a blowout. So I was like, come on, man, give us a better game. But the Colts.
Well,
We were talking this morning on the morning show. Here's a team that was super hot to start the year. They've dropped what, 3 now in a row. Philip Rivers, who's been retired now for what, 2 years? He's killing it here as a high school football coach. Is it 5 years? 4 years? Is he?
2020.
Oh, yeah, because he's eligible for the Hall of Fame this year, isn't he? Is he? Let me double check that.
Yep.
Anyways, Philip Rivers is going to work out for him this year.
Phil Rivers. I think Phil Rivers is going to start for the Indianapolis Colts in Seattle this weekend.
Let me see what his Hall of Fame window is. Is he? Um, he is. He's a semifinalist for the class for this year's class. I mean, seriously, he is a semifinalist for this year's class. Yeah, it's been 5 years. So if he comes back and plays for them, it restarts his clock. Now it's the class 2026. Now he won't be eligible to class of 2031 if he plays this year.
Oh, maybe we get Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame this year, but that's here and there.
Maybe that's how he it's in his Philip. I mean, that's crazy though, and he's going to go work out for them on Tuesday. But there's a team that was super hot. They've been dropping. Like, look, if you have to go get a guy who's 5 years retired, semifinalist for the Hall of Fame this year, to work him out to be your starting quarterback to finish off your season, ooh, I mean, look, you've exhausted a lot of people to get to that point, right? Crazy. But no, I mean the Bears Packers game, like, look, both teams had an interception, both teams had a sack. They both made great second half adjustments. The last Caleb throw was kind of like, so I was watching that play on my TV as it unfolded, and you got to remember the way that I'm watching on TV. They're not showing you where the field cuts off is about the 3-yard line on the TV where the view of the camera is. So as he's streaking to that sideline, I'm thinking, okay, Caleb's just going to go out of bounds and get the first down. It'll be first and goal with like 43 seconds left. He's going to go out of bounds for 35 seconds, whatever it was. Bears could run 2 or 3 plays. They still had timeout left to get the touchdown, call it a day, right? Because they were running the ball pretty much at will. Um, that would seal the game. And even if you scored a touchdown with 15, 20 seconds left, it's going to be really hard for the Packers to go the length of the field, right? That's what I'm thinking. When I see him throw, I'm like, oh, someone must be open. And I see it's a float. I'm like, oh, it's a floater. And then they pan over and I see, like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. He's throwing a floater and the defender's right there. I'm like, and it's like my heart sank. Um, the press conference, Caleb addressed it, saying he saw the guy running over, but he didn't think he was going to get there, and that he should have led Komet more than he did. So he owned it. He took ownership of that pass. So while we lost to our rivals and went from number 1 in the NFC to number 7 in one game, because that's how the NFC rolls these days, and from first to second by now a whole half game behind Green Bay, so that can flip this week again. I'm not mad. You know what I mean? First off, I'm playing with house money. I've already won 9 games. I had a 5-game win season where I had a 10-game losing streak last year. I'm playing with house money. Secondly, some good lessons learned by Caleb and the Bears in that game, and they took it to heart. You could hear it when they talked. They were accountable for their actions. They took their, and we got out of that game healthy, which I can't say that much about Green Bay, but we came out healthy. And the thing that sucks is we play well, not sucks, but the thing that sucks about the schedule is, you played them in week 14 and 16. It's really hard to beat a team twice in 3 weeks. So, and now they come to our place. It's going to be the Sunday night football game in America. Caleb does.
Saturday.
No, it's Sunday. This is the 20th.
Saturday.
Oh, it is Saturday. Yeah, the 20th. Yeah. So it's going to be football night in America, Saturday edition. Still football night in America. It's a 7:20 start. So it's a primetime start. Caleb does well in primetime games. So, I think the Bears even out, and I thought the Bears would split. So if the Bears split, if we beat Cleveland this week, Green Bay's got to go to Denver. The Lions have to go to the Rams. If those two lose and the Bears win, now the Bears are up a half a game on the Packers going into the rematch, just like we were this week. The Rams are pretty much done with their playoff chances, or at least they're very slim. And then we go to week 16. If the Bears win week 16, then we go to San Francisco, up a game and a half on the Packers, who have to play Baltimore. Yeah, and if Baltimore wins that and we beat San Francisco, week 18 won't matter for the division, right? And if we win and the Packers win, it probably won't. Week 18 probably won't matter for the playoffs.
Yeah, looking back at your game, I loved how the Bears were able to move the ball. I mean, that 17-18 play drive, some quick plays. I mean, get DJ Moore involved, get Loveland involved. Maybe Rome Medusa's foot was a bigger.
Rome was out, and DJ, I think, maybe had 1 catch. If that, I don't think he had a catch.
Yeah, but you see what Chicago's doing this year. They can run the ball. Caleb's not really a turnover guy, but you see the athleticism, the huge arm, even in Green Bay. You see that. You see that dual threat talent, and I think Green Bay's defense was feeling it because that Chicago offense was really controlling much of the half on Sunday.
Receiving, Zach Ayes had 2 receptions for 7 yards. DeAndre Swift, 3 for 19. Luther Burden, 4 for 67. Dervinay had 1 for 24, which was it was not a touchdown. That was Zach Ayes. DJ Moore, 1 catch for -4 yards because they blew that play up on that quick slant, on that quick throw. Komet was 2 for 42. That's it for receiving for the Bears. Now running, both Swift and Monangai carried for 13 and 14 respectively. Swift for 63 yards, Monangai for 57. Swift averaged 4.8, Monangai just under 4.1. So I mean, the run game is working, but you look at Monangai in the first half and that one hit. I can't remember who from Green Bay hit, but he broke the dude's helmet. You saw chunks of the helmet go flying because he broke his fucking helmet. Oh, Monangai. I mean, the running game. You're right, Dylan. The running game is working in Chicago. The first half it was really tough, but they made some good second half adjustments, and then second half they pretty much controlled it. And then Green Bay made some adjustments to get a touchdown after that bad kickoff that put them on the 40. But the Bears marched right back down the field and were in position to win it.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago. I mean, unfortunately, couldn't stop Christian Watson, and Josh Jacobs got a late touchdown. Do you worry about Chicago's defense because for whatever reason the Bears have given up too many big plays?
So yes and no. No, because they're getting healthy, not getting hurt. We're still down. We were down 2 starters, 3 starters. I mean, well, 2.5 starters. Tyreek Stevens is a starter, but his replacement's been a starter all year. So, and he led the league, or maybe still does lead the league in turnovers. So, I don't know if that's you consider him a backup, right? When the backup isn't the starter, but he leads the league in turnovers, is he really the backup? I don't know. But we were still without Edmonds. We were still without Spidey. So that was 2 key players we're missing. Look, I'll give Jordan Love credit in the first half for recognizing the defense and knowing when he had the opportune times to take the shots downfield, and they got those shots. The bad thing for the Bears defense, I think, has been more on the pressure piece, like not getting Jordan Love pressure, because Jordan Love had enough time to sit in the pocket and deliver those long balls. The pressure was lacking in the first half. I think we get some personnel back, we can add more pressure. But the Bears, that's the only thing I worry is we don't get pressure. But look, they've gotten better as the season's progressed in terms of how many yards they're laying up per game, the points they're laying up per game. This week we were tied in the giveaway department and we lost. There's something to that. We weren't plus; we were dead even with Green Bay. So no, I'm not completely concerned with that defense. It's still got room to improve, and it will. Like I said, some of it's personnel. Some of it they got to figure out how to get pressure. They got to figure out how to get pressure with the personnel they got. Offensively, they made good adjustments. I would have liked to see more quick slants, like Green Bay did. But once again, let's say losing the first game is the plus for you in the second game. We saw what they did. They pulled a little more out of the rabbit bag. We stayed pretty vanilla overall. 2 trick plays. One got blown up because everyone knew it was coming, it seemed. The one to DJ Moore. That thing got – I don't know how DJ Moore held on to that ball. But it was a good game. Neither team showed too terribly much. They showed just enough. Because at this point of the season, dude, you don't want your head coach emptying out his bag of tricks. You know what I mean? If you think, okay, I'm going to be a playoff team, do you want to show everyone else who's a playoff team all your tricks now before you get to the playoffs? Not if you don't have to. You want to be able to confuse them in the playoffs more. So if you can get by in these games without having to run all kinds of extra weird shit to confuse defenses and run pretty vanilla by your standards, you run vanilla. You know what I mean? Like, if I know I'm going to be in the big cart, in the big drag race, I'm not going to show you my full engine capacity in the first race. You know what I mean? I'm going to hold back a little. I think that's what the Bears and the Packers both did, and they gave us a great game.
What do you think about Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur's handshake at the end of the game? I think this rivalry needs a little spice to it.
This is what I thought about it. What handshake? They didn't even look at each other. They're kind of like, hand went out.
That almost looked like, you remember when Lovie Smith's first comment when he became Bears head coach was,
yeah, beat the Packers.
Beat the Packers, then win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. It's Ben Johnson, like, Dude, if Matt LaFleur thinks that phased Ben Johnson, here's Ben Johnson when we score a touchdown. Here's Ben Johnson when we get an interception. Here's Ben Johnson when we give the ball up in a turnover. Here's Ben Johnson when we throw an interception on the last play of the game. Dude's cold as ice, man. Don't fucking care. You're not going to phase Ben Johnson with that, Matt LaFleur. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Ravens game was good, though. Ravens Steelers was a good game.
By the way, I've got a question. I mean, of course, a Raven Steeler guy's on here. Was Isaiah Likely's touchdown really a touchdown, or?
I thought it should be a touchdown, and I think the rule is a little bit jacked up, and I think Adam and the guys would kind of disagree with me because it favored them. But I think that should have been a touchdown. Like, look if I'm running the ball in from the 1 yard line, and all the ball has to do is break the plane, and it's a touchdown whether I fumble it or not. But when I catch the ball, I gotta take 2 steps, and the other player can do stuff to me. And dude, I thought, look, he caught the ball, took like a step and a half. The other guy knocked out, but he clearly had possession, solid, until he got punched out. He was in the end zone, so he had crossed the plane, obviously. I think some of the rules we have for what's a reception need to be looked at. I mean, the guy clearly, he didn't bobble it. He had possession. The defensive player knocked it out of his hand, after he took a step and a half. Okay. But if it was a running back and he crossed the plane with the ball and the defender knocked it out of his hand, it's still a touchdown. I understand, like, if he's going down to the ground, he has to show he has, right, that he has it. But I think that case to me, I mean, the way the rule is written, they were right. But I think that rule is jacked, and that's not the only occurrence this year. It's been a couple times where it's like, I think the rules that they have for what is, like, the whole thing with Aaron Rodgers being down by contact before he even had the ball in his hand. Really? That happened to the Bears in week 3 on an Edmonds interception. The guy got, like, this finger brushed his jersey before he caught the ball as he was diving to catch the ball. And they called that down by contact. Like, he got touched before he even had the ball. After he had the ball, no one touched him. That should have been a pick 6. So some of these rules and the way they need to look at it, like, that was chintzy. The Rodgers call I thought was bullshit. I think the Likely call, while maybe technically right, needs to be looked at because I think that was kind of bullshit too. I think the rules with the quarterbacks and the way they're getting hit, going out of bounds or even sliding is bullshit. Like, a quarterback starts to slide and then the guy goes midair to say, well, I couldn't stop. Dude, you took off the second you saw him going to the ground. Like, come on. Spirit versus intent and all that good stuff. I think the NFL rules guys really need to look at some of this stuff.
Like, do you remember the play, I think it was last year, where the Texans linebacker, let me see, Ices Alsair went out and absolutely took out Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And I think everyone could say, not just me, but everyone would agree that was a cheap shot.
I mean, yeah, well, there have been a couple cheap shots. The one on Jackson Dart the other night in New York was the New York game. I mean, Dart said, look, I'm a football player, whatever, I expect to get hit. But that was a cheap shot. And then he was obviously going out of bounds. There was no way he wasn't going out of bounds. His body was not going to change him going out of bounds. To give that push and shove, or some of these hits these guys are doing on quarterback as they're going out of bounds, I'm sorry, it's just bullshit. Some quarterbacks hurt when the rule, and look, if they're going out of bounds, let them go out of bounds. The extra hits are just, Ramsey's done it a couple times this year to a couple quarterbacks. This is how Ramsey gets headhunted. You know what I mean? It's just, I think it's poor sportsmanship. It's cheap. The quarterback is going to the ground, and then you launch yourself so you can hit him. and say, well, I was already in the air when you went down. No, you weren't. The replay shows you weren't. And on field, the ref 99% of the time doesn't throw the flag. But some of these quarterbacks are going to get hurt that way. And then that's going to ruin the game. And okay, well, it's part of the game. Well, that used to be true, but since we've gone into quarterback protection mode, I mean, come on, they're violating the intent of the rule the way they're doing it. So, the spirit of the rule is being violated, I think. And it's a cheap shot. The guy is giving himself up. You don't hit him when he's giving himself up. That's like you're raising the white flag, and I say, oh, hey, Dylan, is that a white flag you're raising? Hold on a second. Sorry, I was cocking back the charging handle as your arm was going up with the flag. Sorry. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And by the way, how did the Steelers win that game and yet gave up 400 yards of total offense again? Pittsburgh's defense is not what it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, but there were some issues. There were some issues with that offense there.
By the way, what's wrong with Lamar Jackson?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there are a couple guys who just aren't. Lamar's not, and really even Josh Allen's having a hard time this season.
Apparently, the Bills can only win if Josh Allen puts up like 30 points.
Joe Burrow had a game. Quit making fun of our defense.
Hey, Josh, you gave up 400 yards to the crappy Ravens.
Wait, I found Pittsburgh's defense. My opinion, Lamar Jackson is not. No, he's not entirely terrible, but he's not. They're not making plays, and then look at. I mean, you're going to see. You're seeing this with Kansas City. Mahomes just isn't making some of the plays he used to make, right? And that's because some of the talent is gone, or it's aged, or take your pick. There's a plethora of things. The offensive line's not as good. The play calling might be a little off. Your receivers may not be as fast as they used to be, or have the hands they once had, or your tight end doesn't have the capabilities he had before. I mean, you see it with Patrick Mahomes. You're seeing it a little bit with Lamar, and then you're seeing other guys starting to ascend. Right? There's a certain kid in Carolina who's starting to ascend. There's a certain kid in New England, a certain kid in Chicago, another one in Denver. They're starting to ascend because they're starting to do those things now. I mean, there's some of that's just ebb and flow of the game, and you can't be like, this is probably Mahomes' worst years of pro. They've already done a lot of things this year they'd never done in Kansas City since he got there. Not win the division being one of them. So, Ravens defense rushed him back from. Ravens definitely rushed him back from the hamstring injury too. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you haven't seen Lamar run as much lately. This is true. But I think some of it's personnel scheme. Like your scheme may be good, but you don't have the personnel for it because injury, free agency, stuff like that. I mean, look at Detroit; they're another example of that. I mean, look at Philly.
Oh my gosh! That game last night, honestly, might have been the worst game I've seen all year.
I mean, they played the Bears.
5 turnovers.
Think about it. Coming into the game in Chicago, they were the best in the NFL in turnover ratio, or at least turnovers, not giving the ball up. The Bears take 2 from them, and they come out the next week and give up 5. It's like, what the hell? It's the and then Philly fans. Our offensive coordinator sucks, dude. You've won 8 games. Your offensive coordinator is not the issue with your drops, your fumbles, the interceptions the last couple weeks, the lack of execution. That's not on your offensive coordinator. That's on your personnel.
And by the way, why did the Eagles run under center? I don't know. Saquon Barkley ran a 50-yard touchdown from under center.
Saquon Barkley has half the carries last year and half the yards. Well, what makes you think, Philadelphia, that every other guy who has almost 2,000 yards and 400 touches in a season, the next year sees significant drop off every time in NFL history. We went through it before the season, remember? I mean, was it Rich pulled up the list of all these guys and who had X amount of carries and X amount of yards and what they had the next year. And Philly's mad because the same thing that's happened to every other running back in the same situation is happening to Saquon. I mean, come on. I mean, you you guys were shown before the season that this is true of running backs, and now that's happening. You're pissed at your offensive coordinator because what has happened to everyone else in history has happened to you. Okay.
By the way, I think we're seeing right now that Jalen Hurts is more of an OC weapon O-line dependent. Jalen Hurts is not
he's Kyle Orton on steroids. He's a phenomenal game manager. He's a phenomenal game manager that's got a lot of extra pop to him. He can run. He's got a better arm than Orton did, but he's a phenomenal game manager that can do some extraordinary things as well. But that's what Jalen Hurts is. Because look at he'll 150 yards. He threw for what 150 yards when he won the Super Bowl. You don't need him to be Superman. You just need him to manage, and then every so often make a great play, and he can do that. The problem is their offensive line is not nearly as good as it used to be. Some of the things that used to be super effective to them aren't anymore because teams have figured it out. So Jalen Hurts needs to figure out some adjustments quickly.
And by the way, how did Justin Herbert win the game for a broken hand?
You gotta give it to some of these guys, man. Herbert's always been able to play through an injury, though. He's always been able. Super Bowl contenders.
Wait. I have one. You
can
ask me about my... Yeah. I have one. Then we're going to talk Super Bowl. I have one that we're going to talk CFP playoff and then Super Bowl contenders. But you should have my message.
Yeah, I got it. Well, your Jags, let's talk about it. I mean, you messaged me about it. Let's talk about it. Look at the Jags. I said before the year, feast or famine, right? And they're in feast mode. And it's no coincidence that 3 teams with new head coaches are all in playoff contention, right? The Jags, who have been kind of surprising to some people, maybe. The Bears, same situation, kind of surprising to some people. And actually, another team that's surprising to people, New England. I think your Jags are looking pretty good. It was nice to see NTN have a good game. Trevor Lawrence has been playing good. I mean, what's up with your team? They're looking like they're in feast mode. It looks like you're gonna have a great division run there. I mean, you got the only thing that can really I think is gonna stand in your way is Texas.
Yeah, why couldn't the Chiefs beat the Texans on Sunday night? But that's here and there.
Texans defense, man, is brutal.
Scares the living you-know-what out of us. I can attest. But
what's the feeling in Duval?
Feeling in Duval is that Liam Cohen is the right coach for Trevor Lawrence, and I think Baker Mayfield misses him this year. But Jackson's been great at not just running the ball, but stopping the run. Like, for whatever reason, Jacksonville is great at stopping the run. JT only got 74 rushing yards on 3.5 yards a pop and a fumble. And, Jackson might not be sacking the quarterback. I think we only got 1 sack. But the Jags have done great in forcing turnovers this year. And lately, Trevor's been... I mean, I don't think Trevor's going to lead the league in completion percentage, QBR, pass rate. But Trevor's been... last couple of games, Trevor against a divisional opponent, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, Trevor, everybody's going to look at, Trevor's got 11 picks and 59% completion percentage. All the great quarterbacks throw interceptions. Let me see if I can look up.
Well, and even completion percentage, like I look at Caleb and be like, oh my God, he was like 53%. And I would say 3/4 of his incomplete passes were throwaways in that Packers game. So, like, when
By the
Trevor,
way,
how many
by the way,
throwaways did Trevor have? Did he have a few? I mean, that's a good defense. I'm sure he had more than a few throwaways in that game.
by the way, Trevor's got 11 picks, same as Justin Herbert. I don't know. Justin Herbert's a pretty good quarterback. Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen all have 10 picks. So, and
I think Caleb's got 6 or 7. Jordan Love's got like 5 or 6.
yeah, I think you would. I think you would agree with me. Some picks do not necessarily define how good or how bad you are at
Well, I mean,
quarterback.
look at Favre. Favre led the league in touchdowns and interceptions. I mean,
I mean, Tom Brady
he's,
threw a pick
he's
6 in the
more
Super Bowl.
he's more of a gunslinger, right? He's more of a gunslinger than maybe Caleb or Jordan are. But look, I don't care about completion percentage in some levels because I'm looking at what were the incomplete passes, right? Were they bad throws? Were they throwaways? There's a difference, right? When Trevor just goes and throws at someone's feet, that's a throwaway. It counts against his completion percentage, but it's a throwaway. If he throws it 25 feet above everyone's head into the stands, that's a throwaway, but it counts against their completion percentage. So I mean, when I take all those into account, when actually looking at the games and take those into account, dude, Trevor Lawrence is playing good ball. Now Trevor Lawrence doesn't get the love that these other guys get, just like Caleb doesn't, because the other people who the media said, "Oh my God, look at these people." I think Jacksonville's in a good spot. It's just the Texans. How many you guys got 'em once or twice still?
Say it again.
How many times you still play the Texans, or are you done?
Jackson Texans split. We won. Each team won at home.
Yeah. So, what's the Jags schedule?
Jackson plays the Jets this week at Denver, at Indy, and then home against Tennessee. Houston finishes with 4 dome games: Cardinals, Raiders, at Chargers, Colts.
So their only good games the Chargers. Your only good games the Broncos.
And
So
if the
basically, you could both go 3. If you guys both go 3-1, I mean, you
wind
win
up
the
the
division. You
wind
control
up
your
the
destiny.
threes. See.
You
But if
control.
Houston goes 4-1, Jacksonville goes 4-0. Jacksonville goes 3-1. If that loss is in Denver, Houston wins the division. So
If you win 3 games, that puts you at 12 wins. Well, no one from the North is getting in the wild card. The Bills are at 9. They could end up with that win total. So that's 1, 2. If you get up with 12 wins, dude, you're probably in.
well, yeah, Jackson wins 12 games. They're also a wild card team. Jackson's got a tiebreak over the Chargers.
I think the Broncos can clinch a playoff spot this week.
Yeah.
So can the
And by the
Patriots.
way, for the first time in a decade, the Kansas City Chiefs are not winning the AFC West this year.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was the big thing, and they might not make the playoffs. And that goes up to Isaac's question, right? Who do we think are the main Super Bowl contenders? Now that
Um,
now it looks like KC might not be in the mix at all.
I think they're all 2 big contenders in the AFC and 3 in the NFC. See, right now, I think New England and Denver are the big contenders in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Patriots have taken advantage of a lackluster schedule.
They have.
Yeah, and it's nothing New England did wrong.
They
I
get the
feel
same.
like New England's a year away.
They basically have a similar schedule to how the Bears were this year. Suppose but okay. So for the AFC, you've got Denver, New England are your 2 favorites. Who are the other 3 that you were talking about?
And then the other 3 in the NFC are Green Bay, LA, Seattle.
And I take it that would also be your top 5 right now. Getting ahead of
Yeah. You could
So
go.
I would agree with your AFC teams. However, I'm not showing the same love to the NFC West as you are. My 3 NFC teams would be the Rams, and this could change after this week's game against the Lions, but it would be the Rams, the Packers, and the Bears.
I mean, Seattle's a box of chocolates. Seattle could win by 40 or lose by 40.
Here's the problem with Seattle, and that's Sam Darnold in the playoffs. And Sam Darnold a couple times this year has been absolutely horrific. I have more trust in Caleb, Jordan, and Stafford than I do in the Ginger Jesus. That's why I would put those, the Bears, Packers, Rams instead of Packers, Rams, Seahawks. If the Seahawks are at home, they're probably going to lose. You know what I mean? Looking at their schedule.
Yeah, Seattle plays the Colts.
I'm going to bring up all their schedules really quick. Hold on, bear with me.
Seattle
So the
plays
Seahawks.
the
They get the Colts this week. Then they get the Rams. Then they got the Panthers. Then they got the Niners. So 3 tough games. I don't know how I'm going to call the Colts. The Rams get the Lions, the Hawks, the Falcons, and the Cardinals. So they get 2 good games and 2 laughers. And then the Bears, we get
the
Cleveland,
Browns,
Green Bay, 49ers, Detroit. The Packers get Denver,
Chicago, Baltimore, and Minnesota.
And yeah, so I think the Rams probably have the easiest schedule, and then the Bears and Packers schedule might be a little harder than what the Seahawks have. But honestly, I mean, no, the Seahawks have a tough schedule. Let me tell you, they got all playoff teams. Yeah. So I mean, that's why I think offensively the Bears are better than Seattle. I think Seattle, while good offensively, I think Green Bay and Chicago are better. Defensively, I think Green Bay's pass rush is better, but the Bears' secondary is better. So it's kind of tick for tack there with them. But yeah, I mean it's close. It's close. But yeah, you're right. The AFC, it's like the 2-dog race. I think,
and it's funny right now. Guess who wouldn't make the playoffs in the AFC? Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, or Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. That's crazy. And you know who's? Hey, you know what? For all those people think KC's going to get in, guess who's got the same record?
The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't know if you watched the morning show. Joe says we call them the uber sexually violent aquatic sea mammals are taking teams to their rape game.
The Miami Dolphins this weekend said they play a Monday night game in Pittsburgh.
Dude, the Dolphins have been beat. If the Dolphins win, if they take the Steelers to the rape cave again, oh my God. The Steelers are 6. Look at the Dolphins are 6-7. They're not out of it. And people are saying, oh, they're going to be the dumpster fire. Their coach needs to be fired. They fired one of the coordinators, and look what they've done since. They're very quietly making a playoff push. Very quietly.
I'll tell you this: Miami beat the you-know-what out of the Jets this weekend. I mean, in MetLife, where they could have folded. I thought Tua made some good throws.
Look at the Dolphins. They beat the Jets big. They beat the Saints. They beat the Commanders, and they whooped the Bills. That's their last 4.
Well, other than the Bills, the Miami Dolphins beat let's see, Panera Bread, Wendy's, and McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, they beat the Jets twice. Good game against they split with the Bills. The Panthers beat them by a field goal. The Browns killed them and the Ravens killed them. They're a weird team. They've got the Steelers, the Bungles, the Bucks, and the Pats left. So not an easy schedule. Not an easy schedule.
And both road games are cold weather games.
Yeah, but you know what though? They just won in New York in a cold weather game. This is the first cold weather game.
It's probably going to be colder this weekend in Pittsburgh.
Maybe. This was the first game Tua ever won where the temperature was under 32 degrees. So that's a good sign I mean, look, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but they're very quietly making a good end of year push. This is a team that, a couple weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, we said, oh, they were looking at top 10 pick. Now they're kind of still in the playoff picture. They're not eliminated yet. There are a lot of teams that are eliminated. They are not eliminated yet. So that makes it interesting. Josh, we talked about Phillip Rivers at the top, and we can revisit it a little bit. I mean, the only thing we can tell you is, here's the funny thing. We talked about, we didn't give our feelings, I guess. I don't know. What do you think, Dylan? The guy is a semifinalist to go into the Hall of Fame this year. He is going to go work out for the Colts.
Signed a deal with the Colts.
He's 34 years old. He turns 35. 44, yeah, 44 years old. He turns 45 on Tuesday, the day he's working out. So for his birthday, he's going to go work out for the Colts. As a high school coach here, like 30 minutes from me in Alabama, the guy has been phenomenal, right? And now he's going to go try to play for the Colts. So I don't know. What do you think, Dylan? Do they sign him?
I think not only. Well, I think Phillip Rivers already signed his deal. I think Phillip Rivers starts for the Colts this weekend. That's how desperate Indianapolis is.
So you're saying he's going to push his Hall of Fame induction back 5 years for this?
They might make an exception if Rivers gets a cup of coffee, but who knows? I mean, he's got 10 kids. I mean, I have no idea. Although, funny story. I think Phillip Rivers is the first grandfather to play in the NFL or in a major sport since Brett Favre did with Minnesota in 2010.
Yamar Yager's got to be a grandfather too.
I don't know. I mean, I think Yager's still playing.
That's a good. Let me see here. I don't know. And what do they make? I mean, well, Phillip. Let me do something on Phillip Rivers. Does he really have 10 kids? Oh my God, he has so many kids. Jeez. Oh wait, did they sign him?
Yes.
No, he signed. The last thing I saw this morning, he was going to go through. He actually signed.
Yes.
I missed that piece. Oh my God, that's crazy. Jeez. He's got 10 kids and a grandkid? Wow. Let me ask Grok, how many NFL players have, or what's the question? How many professional athletes have been grandparents? Many pro athletes were grandparents while they were still a pro. Let's see what comes up with Dylan.
Julio Franco.
A couple. Oh wow. All right, in soccer, Arnor Gudjohnsen, he's an Icelandic striker.
Wasn't Gordie Howe playing until he was like 50?
Maybe. Rai, a Brazilian midfielder, 1994 World Cup winner. He was a grandfather at age 33.
Oh my. Whoa.
Yeah. Simeon Royce is an English goalkeeper, and he's still actively playing in the lower leagues of the British soccer system. In the NFL, Brett Favre in 2010. Favre was 40 and played the full season with the Vikings. And Phillip Rivers, the only two. In other major sports, there are no confirmed cases of active players becoming grandparents during their pro careers in the NBA, MLB, or NHL. Wow. So, yeah, the phenomenon is so uncommon that new cases like Rivers make headlines as near historic rarities.
And you know what? If Phil Rivers wins for Indianapolis in the Great Northwest, it might be one of the craziest stories of the year.
So I mean, look at do they get in the playoffs?
No, 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 no.
I
I
mean,
think the
what, look
Colts.
at
I think the Colts have lost too many guys. Not just the quarterback, but no DeForest Buckner and no Sauce Gardner. I think Indianapolis run out of sauce and run out of bodies.
I mean, the Colts are 8-5. They got the Sea Chickens, the Niners, the Jags, and the Texans. Oof. Let's see what Vegas said. Now these numbers are probably pre-Rivers. The Colts have a 50% chance to make the playoffs after the Week 14 loss. The chance could improve to 86% with a win. So, I mean, they've got better than 50-50 chance, or about a 50-50 chance. Right now, the Colts are the 8th seed. They're one game out behind the Texans. Wait, no, that's 8-5. That's missing a week. Does it? Yeah, no, because that's right. The Bears are the 7th seed. That's correct. They are the 8th seed.
I just think Indianapolis' schedule is hard. I mean, the Colts have got a brutal schedule to end with. I mean, I think the
Thanksgiving
Colts were a
Sunday.
nice story early, but now back to where they always are.
I mean, look, here are the wild card teams right now. Okay. The Bills are at 9-4. The Chargers are 8-4. The Texans are 8-5, and the Colts are 8-5. And then the other teams still in the hunt technically: the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Dolphins, all at 6-7. And the Bengals are 4-9. They have not been officially eliminated. By the way, officially eliminated in the AFC are the Jets, the Browns, the Raiders, and the Titans. Officially eliminated in the NFC. I think that listed a little less. I just scrolled the wrong way. My bad.
I
In
think
the
Arizona's
NFC,
eliminated.
the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Saints, the Commanders, and the Giants all been eliminated.
Oof.
That playoff picture, the hunt goes Detroit at 8-5, Carolina at 7-6, the Cowboys at 5-6-1, the Vikings at 5-8. But for the Panthers, really at 7-6, they need to take over the division. They against
Well, Carolina finishes with 2 out of 3 against the Bucks.
Yeah. Now if they split, it gets interesting. So that division winner gets in. The loser probably doesn't. And then your other wild card teams are, it's either gonna, you're looking Detroit's 8-5, Chicago's 9-4, San Fran's 9-4, the Seahawks are 10-3, and the Packers are 9-3-1. We'll call it 9-4 for
I mean, is there potential of 3 teams coming out of the NFC West?
It's either you're either gonna get 3 teams out of the West or 3 teams out of the North. And then it looks like for the South and the East, division winner gets in and that's it. And then it's looking like, if I was a betting man, I would say the South and the East each get 1 division winner. And then you're going to get 2. The West and the North are each going to send minimum 2. And it's a toss-up who gets the 3rd team. It's either going to be Detroit gets in or San Francisco. And here's the thing. San Francisco's got some tough games. Like, they play the Bears. The Bears beat them. That hurt, and Detroit wins that week. I mean, the scheduling's crazy. For the way this is going, like the Niners, their schedule is not easy. The Niners schedule. Let me bring it up here real quick.
Niners played the Wolflets Titans this weekend.
So they get an easy game this week. Then they get the Colts. Then they get the Bears, and then they get the Seahawks. Not an easy schedule. The
I think
Seahawks.
it's one the Niners could go 3-1, no problem.
The Seahawks get the Colts, the Rams, the Panthers, and the Niners. That's a tough one. The Rams get the Lions, the Seahawks, the Falcons, and the Cardinals. So the Rams have the easier schedule.
I think I'd rather have San Francisco schedule. They play the Wolfless Titans, but coming off a bye.
Dude, the Titans played good this week. They actually played good this week.
The Titans played the equally Wolfless Browns, even though Shador played really well, but that's here and there. We've spent 51 minutes talking NFL. College football playoff came out this weekend, and I hear South Bend, Indiana was none too pleased about the Irish being left out of the dance.
Here's my breadth of knowledge on the NCAA football playoff system. I don't watch college football.
Oh, you don't? Well, then you're lucky. I watch everything. Let me tell you this. I did a little stream about it yesterday to see it. Driving Top Production Spunk.
I grew up in Chicago, man. So, look, in Chicago, growing up there. So, okay, here's how it works in Chicago. Obviously, we have all the major food groups for professional sports. When it comes to college, if the Irish get into a bowl game, if Northwestern were to get into a bowl game, or U of I get into a bowl game, we pay attention for that bowl game. That's about it for football. For basketball, if DePaul was doing something good, Northwestern or U of I or the Irish in the fall tournament.
By the way, Illinois beat Tennessee in Nashville. Yes, I know.
They get if any of those teams made the Sweet 16, all of a sudden people would pay attention. Other than that, we don't watch college sports in Chicago. Why would we? We got the Bears, the Bulls, the Blackhawks, the Cubs, the White Sox, the Fire. Now they got the Sky, they got the Wolves. There's so much professional sports in Chicago. Not many people watch college. It's not a huge college town. So that's kind of stayed with me as I moved throughout my life in the military. I just never. And look at where I live, dude. I'm just down the road from you. Hop on I-10, drive towards Alabama on I-10 for 5 hours. You'll hit. That's where I am. So I'm right here by Auburn and Bama. LSU's just a hop, skip, and a jump down the road. Right? FSU's 3.5 hours, in between me and you. That's FSU. And I don't watch any of it.
I'd be going to games. I would have gone to the Iron Bowl. I would have gone to one of those games.
We looked at going to games because I was going to take my son. We were going to either go to an FSU game or a Bama game, but the tickets were more expensive than the NFL. So, forget that. So, and he's going to UWF next year, so he just goes to UWF games.
Wait, West Florida, I'm guessing?
Yeah, he's going to UWF, which Argonauts are ranked number 1 in D2. They're about to become a D1 school. So he's going to walk on as a red shirt. He's going to do a walk on next year for football.
Nice.
But that's his plan, at least. We'll see how he's a kid. We'll see how it changes. But yeah, UWF's been a D2 national champ several times over the last couple of years. But he goes to UWF games. So I don't really watch much college. Even when in terms of guys coming to the NFL, I really don't care. I look at the stuff coming in the drafts on the tape and what the scouts say and all that good stuff. But as we've learned, you can't take the hype of the draft seriously with these guys in college. And then the other thing is if a college player wasn't durable in college, hi JJ McCarthy. What makes you think he's going to be durable in the NFL? You know what I mean? And then the other thing with college too is like Ashton Genty. He's actually worked out pretty well for the Raiders. But dude, he played for Boise, which they didn't play tough competition. That's a hard thing.
And maybe part of Ashton Genty's problem is that the Raiders' offensive line is so pitiful this year. But
then you look at the guy we drafted in the 7th round of Rutgers, who's murdering people this year. Monangai looks like he should have been a first-round pick.
Looks like the guy the Chiefs drafted a couple years ago from the same school.
Rutgers guys, man. I mean, if you think about it, what Kyle Monangai is doing as a 7th-round pick is the kind of work you would expect of a 1st or 2nd-round pick as a rookie.
That's why unless you draft in Saquon Barkley or Adrian Peterson, don't
Or
spend.
Bijan Robinson.
And yet the Falcons still have Bijan, but that's.
So, I mean, that's why I don't watch
by the way,
college. I mean,
Atlanta doesn't even have a top 10 pick because they used it to get James Pierce, but that's
and here's the other thing with college, like with the playoff system. Like, first off, when I hear some of these teams are in the Big Ten, I'm like, how are the frick are some of these teams in the Big Ten? They're not even, the Big Ten was literally a Midwest conference, right? It was Michigan, Indiana, U of I, Northwestern, Wisconsin, Iowa. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden it's Oklahoma, Penn State, Tennessee. It's like,
I mean, the fact that California and Syracuse are conference rivals.
Yeah, Syracuse wasn't Syracuse SEC. How are they in the Big Ten now? I mean, and then so that's the other thing with the playoff. With all the different conferences, how do you decide which guy gets this, that, and the other? I mean, look, I'm happy that they've expanded the college playoff a little bit, which is good because it was 4 teams. That was a joke. And it was better than the That's better than the AP poll because the AP poll every year, Notre Dame was ranked in the top 3 or 4 every year, and then this season would start by the 4th week of the college season. They'd be outside of the API top 25. So the playoff system is better. It was still shitty. The new playoff system, which is expanded more than 4 teams, is a little better. But we've had national champs go there, and there have been college teams, D1 schools, who went 12-0, 13-0, undefeated, and they could be considered national champs. That's why I've always had a problem with college football. It's really hard to crown a national champ when Boise State went 14-0, and they're not even in the playoff to be the national champ, and they're a D1 school. That's why I have problems with college football. I just don't like the way it's run. College basketball, at least you get the tournament. You can really say, yes, they're national champs. You can do it with college baseball. You can do it with college gymnastics. You can do it with swimming. You can do it with every other college sport. Even soccer, they have a big, huge tournament, right? Massive tournament to decide the college champ. Football does not. I don't think football's ever crowned the right national champion for the most part. There's always going to be an asterisk because even like when Miami was so great, there was some other D1 school that went undefeated. Oh, but the strength of their schedule. Well, as we know in the NFL, strength of schedule don't mean shit. So, yeah, bring back my Pac. I mean, the Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore. It
will next year. It will next year, but it'll have different teams.
Is Conference USA gone?
No.
Conference USA? Yeah.
No.
It's just when Air Force Academy can rank at 1 year in the top 25, or Army can, it's scary. By the way, isn't the Army Navy game this week?
Yes, in Baltimore.
Yeah. The only game that matters in college football. That's the only game in college football that matters.
And I have a friend who'll be in the CBS booth this weekend for Army Navy.
That's the only game. Go Army, beat Navy. That's all I got to say about that.
Oh, I'm telling you, you go 1-11, but you beat the other service academy, you're in heaven.
The only thing we care about is the President's Trophy. And you know what I love about? I'm trying not to be political here, but what I love about the Army Navy game is the president is showing up to it. No matter who the president is, I think if the president of the United States is going to any one football game of a year, it should be the Army Navy game. Hell, the trophy is named after the president. It's the President's Cup. And I think the president of the United States, no matter what party they are, should always be at the game that decides the president, because the game's not always the President's Cup is not always decided in the Army Navy game, because Air Force is one, right? Sometimes it's decided before then. But I think it's great that we get that they're getting that kind of like, the SecDef, the president, they should be at that game. That's their game. The service academy games I think are great when our elected leaders that fall within the military chain of command, be it the SecDef, well, the SecDef's appointed, but the SecDef or now SecWar, sorry, the president or the vice president show up to those games. I think it's great when congressmen and senators show up to those games and show their support for the service academies. But that is really the only game I care about for college sports, college football, is Army Navy. And because it's going to be a gritty, old school football game, lots of running, usually not much passing. You want to sing twice, you want to sing second, you never want to sing first. The hostage exchange before the game is always great. The drum lines usually have a great drum battle, which we don't see on camera, but they come out on YouTube a week or two later. Um, there's so much history, tradition. It's the only game where everyone on that field would die for you, the fan. Literally, right? So that's why it's the only college football game I really watch it.
It'd be a good one to be a good one to watch.
In fact, this year, what time is the game this week?
Should be like 2:30 or 3 o'clock.
Last year I missed it 'cause I thought it was at 7 and it was at like 3:30. What the hell? They better have the NCAA scores right at the top. No, they don't. Oh, yeah. No, that's college basketball. There you go. Where's Army Navy? They don't even list Army Navy on. Really, Bleacher
Should be
Report?
on CBS. Yeah, Josh. Where's anyone? I'm here.
Yeah, where are all these yahoos at?
Well, all these jabronis. They better not be at the gentleman's club.
Are they mad because they lost or something? I mean, I don't know.
Well,
Okay.
the Steelers ones, but maybe Adam's too intoxicated. I don't know.
I love how they tell me the date, but don't tell me the time.
Should be the 13th. Let me see. I might be able to.
Yeah, I'm looking up right
3 o'clock.
Yeah, 3 p.m. There it is. Yeah. So 2 p.m. 2 p.m. my time on CBS. Good. Oh, that's weird. So wait, this is different though. It's only on Paramount Plus. Oh no, it's on TV for CBS. Okay. All right. Good. So, yeah. So the midshipmen are 9-2 this year. The Black Knights are 6-5. Ooh, both beat Air Force. So this is a winner take all for the academy. So the winner of this one will win the President's Cup. Nice.
And I hear the President's Cup will have crab cakes in it with the game being in Baltimore.
So it was funny. One of my soldiers last time was a couple years ago was Baltimore. He's a Army maritime guy, and we have the LSVs and all that. And he parked a vessel right outside the stadium, and they had a big stack display. You got to go to the Army Navy game. That was in 2015, I want to say. He got to do that, and they had the trophy in his boat on his vessel, and they had the Fox Sports was there, and that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, but Josh, I don't know. Where's your dad at, Josh?
Was anyone?
Oh, he could be delivering packages. It's starting to get to be that time of year. Yeah, where's Big Rich at? Where's Hoss? Where's Rav? Charles, where are you? We're probably streaming on your network.
Yeah, Jamie told me his voice is gone.
We can just take them all next week, line them up, and do this.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Look at for Josh, your dad. I mean, this job, we might not see much of him the next couple of weeks with his job.
Yeah, he'll be delivering packages in the snow.
Yeah, until midnight. Josh will go, this is where my dad used to sleep. We don't see him anymore.
He
We think
sleeps
he
during
comes in
the
around
day.
midnight, but then he's gone right before we get up for school. One of those things.
I mean, you know, um, this week baseball winning meetings in Orlando, and surprise, Dodgers get in with DS. The problem baseball's got right now is that few owners want to spend the money. It's not the Dodgers' problem; it's that certain owners don't want to spend the money.
I used to be all up in the hot stove. I used to be all up in the hot stove for baseball, and over the years, I've kind of gotten less and less. I mean, the Cubs will do a little something, something. They felt a little magic last year. I think they'll do a little something. Um, I think the money in baseball kind of shows you why the NFL is right to keep the salary cap the way they have. Um, and the contracts, and the NHL too. The NHL is smart. The NHL, remember, they used to have 10-year contracts in the NHL, and the NHL got rid of them. Said, no more 10-year contracts. Like, I think seven's the max. I think the NFL and NHL do contracts right. I think the NBA is kind of jacked with the max contract. So basically, like, if you stay with your team, the other team, there's no way another team can pay you more, right? That weird system they've got set up. I think that's garbage. The NFL system is good. It's tried. It's true. But the problem with the NFL system is every dollar spent isn't a dollar against the cap. I mean, how is it, Dylan? I give you $100 million contract, but $100 million doesn't show up as cap hits over the 4 years of your deal.
Some teams can wiggle the cap better than others. I'm not sure what kind of accounting machine Howie Roseman the Eagles use.
Dude, I know it's like okay, the Jaguars signed Dylan to a 4-year, $100 million contract, and you go look at Spotrac or over the cap. Well, Dylan just got a 4-year, $100 million contract. Why is his cap number 15 million this year, 15 million next year, 8 million the last year, and 20 million the final year? This math does not add up. And you're like, I don't get it. I don't. You said the NFL's is a little jacked, but baseball, I don't expect much. And winter meetings have been kind of like they're kind of like the Jaguars. They're feast or famine. Like, you get a winter meeting where a ton of shit happens. And then I've seen winter meetings where it's like the winter meetings come and this is all you hear. One, maybe two deals happen and they're not even that big. So it's kind of like the NFL hot stove. Like, the first day of free agency, there's a bevy of activity and then nothing. Well, the hot stove is kind of like that in a way. It's like, but it's more feast or famine. The hot stove week, oh yeah, it's gonna be huge, or it's gonna be nothing, and it's just gonna sprinkle. Something. Who's the big free? A Schwarber. The Schwarber sign.
5 years, 150 with the Phillies.
So he's going back to Philly, or he's going to Philly. Okay, I like Schwarbs. And that's the thing. Before the winter meetings, you already had a couple contracts. So, yeah, baseball. And when they got rid of when they made the DH a thing in the National League, that kind of turned me off from baseball a little bit. I missed the pitchers hitting. I'm sorry. You might not remember guys like Greg Maddux at the plate. Greg Maddux is a great hitter. He can lay down sac bunts. He could get singles. Carlos Zambrano. Dude, I've seen Zambrano hit a walk-off home run as a pitcher. Hell, the Cubs used to use Zambrano as a pinch hitter. Cole Hamels was a good hitter. There were some pitchers who were very fine hitters, like Ohtani.
Mad Bum?
Who?
Mad Bum?
Yeah. Good hitter. Ohtani was a good hitter. Papelbon, as a relief pitcher, was actually a pretty decent hitter. Some pitchers, yeah, they went up there and they flailed. But there are some really good hitters those guys. So I don't like the DH and the NL. That ruined baseball for me to a degree. Some of the other little rule changes they've made have ruined baseball to me to a degree, where I just don't enjoy watching it as much as I used to. The pitch clock, I hate that. At least they're not doing the automated strike zone yet, but they're talking about it. Instant replay for me in baseball, I hate it. I don't like it. It takes too long. it just really, and their rules for instant replay are kind of jacky. Um, so yeah, there are things about baseball that kind of like turned me away from the game. Same like with the NBA. A lot of the NBA I don't like. I right now professional sports I watch three: soccer, football, and hockey. And how about Miami winning the MLS Cup this week? We didn't even talk about that, Bill.
Yeah, some guy named Lionel Messi won his 728th trophy.
And who did he beat? The winningest trophy winner in German history,
Thomas
right?
Muller.
Thomas Mueller. And that was a good. Mueller had a good opportunity in that game. That was a good game. So, and then we had the World Cup draw this weekend too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if there's a group of death.
No, there's not a group of death.
I mean, this 48 team calendar, I think, is it England's group might be the closest because they got Ghana. Was it Ghana, Senegal, and so on? That one looks like is probably the hardest group, but it's not a group of death. And now, like, you could have 3 teams get out of a group. So the group of death, even if there was a group of death, it's not really the group of death because the way this breaks out, you can get 3 teams out of some of these groups. So breaking group isn't going to be as hard as it used to be in the World Cup, which is good for the U.S. and Canada and Mexico.
But realistically, what should America's expectations be? Because I think the U.S. men's national team should get a quarter, if not a semi.
So the problem with the U.S. men's national team, like I think for Brazil, we were ranked 6th going into that cup, and we even break it out, get out of the group stage. Now look at, we gave Germany probably their hardest game of the tournament until Messi in the final, right? We didn't even qualify for Russia. The last World Cup, did we get out of group? We got a group, then we got Spain.
No, then we got Owen's crutch.
So I think at this point we have more American players in first divisions in Europe than at any time before. Pulisic can be a game changer. We've got really good goalkeeping. We've got a couple. I mean, the USDA, you should be looking for at least a quarter. They shouldn't be looking to make the quarters. They should be looking to be the last CONCACAF team standing. I think they're better than Mexico. I think they're better than Canada. They got to break through at some point. They got to beat a European powerhouse at some point. You know, they got to beat a Brazil or a Germany or an England again at some point. And get, I mean, we had our best is a quarter, and that was Korea. So we haven't done a semi yet.
And we got hosed in that game against Germany, but that's here and near there.
Yeah, that was. So, I mean, I would like to see a semi. I think we get to a semi. That's a super successful World Cup for us. To get to a semi, because then you're either playing for it all, you're playing for third. So the fact, trying to finish in the top 4 would be, I think would be, yeah. I would consider a quarter success, a semi super successful, and winning the whole damn thing mind blowing.
I don't know. The U.S. isn't winning a World Cup. Not with France. Not with Spain, Argentina, all these.
You know what though? I mean, you see upsets, man, and you see teams that. And if you look at Argentina, Messi isn't exactly young. Ronaldo isn't exactly young. Germany hasn't been performing well as of late. Harry Kane is not exactly in his prime for England, and England always has cup issues.
And England won't like playing in the heat and humidity.
Well, that's the other thing about this World Cup. So we got a couple games that are in domed stadiums. Atlanta, Dallas, they're going to be playing indoors. That's SoFi. So it's going to be interesting from that aspect with having England if they get the draw, and I think it might be out by now where England's playing their games. Let me see. England. Let me do a search of England World Cup venue. for 2022. Help if I can spell correctly when I type my query. Okay, so they're playing. Oh my God! So they're playing against Croatia in Arlington, so indoors. They're playing at Foxborough against Ghana, so up north. And then they're playing at they're playing at in East Rutherford for the Panama match. So at least they get probably their hardest game, Croatia indoors.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And by the way, how about Mexico opening the World Cup against South Africa in a rematch of the 2010 World Cup opener?
So that's interesting. Okay, does it? Oh, it doesn't. Okay, so the U.S. plays their opening game
In
at
LA.
SoFi. At SoFi. Wow. Wait, how do they? No, I don't like the way they go. Oh, that's no. I want to do. Let me just do it the way I did the U.S. World Cup. So the U.S. How did they do it? For something to give you a nice little breakdown for this one, they don't.
I think the U.S. goes from SoFi to Seattle back to California.
All right. They go to SoFi, then Lumen, and then back to SoFi. Yeah. Paraguay at SoFi, Australia in Seattle, and then back to SoFi for Inglewood. Canada goes BMO in Toronto. That's easy for them. I mean, Mexico's playing all their games in Mexico. Let's see, Brazil, Morocco, and MetLife. That's going to be interesting. Qatar, Switzerland, and Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Let me see. Scotland has to play in Foxborough. Oof. Germany and Curacao and Houston at NRG. So inside. NRG is indoors, right? Yeah. So Germany gets to play indoors. Netherlands and Japan play at Arlington, so that's indoors. Yeah, the weather here is going to be something. Saudi Arabia and Uruguay at Hard Rock. That's going to be interesting.
Oh, that'll be nuts. That'll be nuts.
France and Senegal at MetLife. That's going to be a good match. Norway's playing in Foxborough for whoever they get to play. Argentina and Algeria are at Arrowhead. Oh.
I think Messi play. I think Argentina's at Hard Rock too.
Well, let me just pull up Argentina because I'm just kind of looking. Argentina World Cup venues. Get the three of them up top.
Kansas City, Dallas, and Dallas. Sorry. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting World Cup, man. I can't wait to start watching that one.
Ooh.
But the U.S. think about it, the U.S. plays 2 games at SoFi, 1 at Lumen. They're gonna have great weather for all their games.
Well, I don't know what LA is going to be, but Seattle. It could be worse than Seattle. It could be
Well, no,
playing
I mean
in
LA is gonna be perfect. It'll be perfect field conditions in the dome at SoFi. Seattle might be rainy and wet, but I mean, they got 2 games in SoFi. That's an advantage.
It certainly beats Miami. Like the 2 places I don't want to be are Kansas City and Miami.
Yeah, Arrowhead, Miami. Rutherford's gonna be hot and humid though. But if you're playing at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, this is not the first World Cup where games been played indoors though.
1994.
And do you know where those games were played at?
The Pontiac Silverdome. which was a dump.
Yep, and that was a huge coup when they pulled that off. And if you think about it, after that World Cup, Arizona builds their stadium, which is natural grass in a dome. Yeah. So a lot of stuff happened this weekend, man. It was a good weekend. Too bad the other knuckleheads weren't here to talk about it.
Do you have an NFL power rankings?
Do I have it up or?
No, do you have your top 5?
Well, yeah, my top 5. We kind of already went through that. My top 5, in no particular order, are the Pats, the Broncos, the Broncos, the Packers, the Bears, and the Rams. Those are my top 5.
5 Seattle, 4 New England, 3 Denver, 2 the Rams, and 1 Green Bay.
So the only thing where we differ is really the Seahawks and the Bears. I don't know if the Packers would be number 1 then.
I have no idea. This feels like one of those years where
I'll tell you what. I think the NFC is stronger than the AFC this year.
100%.
And this Packers Denver game is going to be really telling. The Bears get Cleveland. The Bears, the only AFC loss we have this year is to the Ravens. Yeah.
And the Wall didn't even play that game.
And you know what? I do think this would be funny. I'd love to see a rematch 40 years later, Bears Pats in the Super Bowl. Hey, it could happen.
By the way, question: Who was the Patriots quarterback, and where did he go to college?
Oh, what was his name? I just had it lost.
I'll give you a hint. He was drafted in a famous year for quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was Erickson or something stupid like that, but I can't remember.
You were going to be kicking yourself if I say this guy's name.
I don't remember. I'm mind blanking on it right now.
I'll give you another hint. A Hall of Fame quarterback was taken 1 pick before this guy.
Yeah, that doesn't help me.
Okay.
Marino could have been taken.
The quarterback went to a Big Ten school.
God, they were in that. I have such a hard time remembering the 85 Pats. From
the University of Illinois, Tony Eason.
Tony Eason, that's right. Yeah. Man, that team got smoked.
Yeah, Refrigerator Perry got a touchdown for Walter Payton.
Oh yeah, I was watching that game. I went to games in '85. Yeah.
I don't know how many roughing the quarterback penalties the Bears would have now.
Oh my God, that team straight murdered people. You'll never see a defense hit like that again because it's against the rules. They killed quarterbacks. The '85 Bears and '86 Giants are why you have so many of these rules you have today. Jeez, they just straight up murdered people.
Other than Dan Marino, the Bears killed everyone that year.
And Dan Marino got killed that game too. I don't know how they won that.
Well,
and what the funny thing was, didn't the Pats beat the Dolphins in the AFC Championship game? That would have been a hell of a rematch.
Yeah, Dan Marino only got the 1 Super Bowl. That doesn't feel right.
But I mean, if you think about it, both teams get in, it's possible. The odds are there. They could get if the Bears and the Pats get there, you could get a Bears-Pats rematch of Super Bowl 20.
In Super Bowl 60.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And now here's the funny thing: if that were to happen, the Bears would win. I could already hear Packer fans. Oh, so you can only beat the Patriots when you go to the Super Bowl? Oh, Jesus.
Well, Eli Manning went 2-0 against the GOAT.
Should be a good week of football, though, man.
Yeah, my Jags played the Jets, so I have no idea who the Jets quarterback will be.
Maybe that's where Big Rich is. Maybe he's trying out right now to be.
I'll be in the water boy for the Colts.
And like, where's Haas today, man? His Saints pulled up the huge upset this weekend when there's no Haas. Jeez. But
I created the stream. I'm like, what's going on? Do I have to physically pay you guys?
See if they're in the chat. I want to see if they're in the chat and act like.
Nope.
Oh, there's Jamie. Yeah, no one else said anything. Wow. Okay. Well, whatever. They're lost. Our game.
I've already got my Christmas decorations up here, so.
Yeah, I've got a couple things to do today, and so I'm gonna.
Hey, by the way, is that a picture of Jim McMahon in the background?
Oh, that there? No, that's Urlacher.
Okay, Urlacher.
And then right underneath him, you see that Lombardi? That's signed by Kevin Butler. Yeah, I redid the man cave a little bit. Obviously, you see new lighting behind me. This case right here has got new lighting. These two got new lighting. I've got an 8-foot display that got new lighting, and a new shelf. Changed it up. So yeah, the man cave got a mini renovation, if you will.
And obviously, mine's a little different now that it's the Christmas season. So
yeah, you got your little tree up. Yeah. My whole house is Christmas out there. The man cave, not so much.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it or not, but
Oh, nice. Yeah, here I did. So that case got redone, new lighting.
let me see. Wait, Seahawks.
This is how I watch football.
Willie Gold from Tennessee, first round pick of the '83 draft. That guy could run.
I got that case, and then actually, we'll move you around the setup. That case right there got some new stuff in it. I got a James Lofton Packers mini because I'm trying to finish out the division.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I just those cases obviously got new light. Like look at all the filler in there. I've got room to grow. So, and then I got new lighting in there. So yeah, the man cave. Oops, yeah, there's the mic and the new mixer board, and so the man cave got a small upgrade. So.
Yeah, this is pretty much my man cave office. Only problem with living in Florida is that we can't have a basement.
Well, no, so this is room 1. If you look behind me, there's a door. That door goes to the second room of the man cave, and there's my hallway for the man cave, which you can't really see too terribly well as we try to go in there a little bit. But there's 3 cases. You can see the one case barely. There's a floor case and 2 curio cabinets, and that's the military section of the man cave. And I've even got my own full-size bathroom, my own AC unit here. And then behind me, that's another room. And that's got turntables, vinyl, DVD racks, bookshelves, all kinds of stuff. In fact, my room is so lit up, though, with the football lights. This is how I sit most days. I don't even turn the main. I mean, I'm fine like this. I don't even turn the light on. I have so much light from.
You should do one of those HGTV just based on your man cave. We should do HGTV man caves.
Yeah, so this is what they call this house is what they would call like a legacy home. So this section where the man wing is would be like where your in-law. So big. The room I'm in right now would be your living room. The room behind me would be their bedroom. That would be their full bath. And that little entryway hallway there goes to the main house, which they would go there to get their food and whatnot. If you notice that there's a door behind that case that I've locked, and you see those double, that there is another door. those both go outside. So I have my own entry and exit from this to the outside world. My cat that's in here with me, there's his litter box. He's got his own food and water. This is his refuge. So the other three cats and him don't necessarily get along. So this is his little area. He sits here and plays, gets loved on by his human. And then I pull out the laser pointer and watch him go crazy chasing the laser, which is always fun. But so this is what you would call a legacy home. So like some houses they do the in-law suite. Well, this is that on steroids. It's their own little area. There are 4 houses in my neighborhood that have this setup. Only 2 of us still have the loft over the garage, which is my wife's woman cave. So yeah, 3,200 square foot home. This is it. This is a retirement home. This is my museum / man cave, or man wing, as I like to call it. So yeah, that's the thing about Florida, no basements. Because these guys have basements, man. It's like, I got 1,600 square foot basement for a man cave, and you're just like, you know what, dude? Just read between these lines. These guys with their really kick-ass basements, and they got. Well, this is cool. In Florida, you can do stuff like this. You can take like a legacy home and turn it into a wing.
Or you could or like me, you could have. Let me see if I can flip them around. Or you could just have a bike in your home office.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
And you know how Florida is. We don't use our garages for cars. So my garage has the motorcycle, and it's my grandbaby. It's all his little vehicles and toy cars, and he's got electric cars and motorbikes, and the little kid ones. It's all his stuff. Washer, dryer, fridge in there. So you got to have garage fridge in Florida. Got a carpet in there. The only thing I'm missing in there is furniture. And that's got sports stuff on the walls too, but that's like the plain Jane stuff. Like, nothing there is signed. Like everything in here is basically signed, but that Urlacher is not signed. I need to get it.
Yeah.
But in Florida, you see that. You see people in Florida turn their garages into man caves.
I've got a signed football and a signed Ozzie Smith hat.
Dude. Every single helmet in there is signed. And football. Both jerseys signed. Everything in that case, you're missing that you're not being able to see because the chair's blocking it. You can kind of see that one helmet, but that's another 8 full size and 10 minis signed. All those pictures are signed. Going back here, everything in this case is signed. And then going back here, the top shelf, the Super Bowl trophy, and the mini helmet are signed. And then the top 3 shelves, the top 2 are hockey items that are signed, and then baseball that's signed. There's mixed of signed and non-signed in those cases. I have a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. And then I've got more signed stuff over here. Yeah. It took me a little over 3 years to get the bulk of it, and now I've kind of slowed down. I get something here, something there. But yeah, so just a few helmets.
Yeah, I've got a few helmets, although a lot of my bobbleheads are now turned into gingerbread houses. But
and this Funko Pop right there that the pointer's on, that's a signed Funko Pop with George Takei, who played Sulu in the original Star Trek. That's the only movie thing I have in here signed. The other room, I've got Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back Mylar signed by Kevin Smith. But I don't do much in the movie collectibles. It's almost all sports stuff. So. Oh, I'm sorry. The Drew Brees Funko in the one case is not signed.
By the way, is Drew Brees calling your game this weekend? Let me see.
Ooh, I don't know. Brees might be calling. Cool
Brees. Let me see. No, Drew Brees is in Santa Clara.
Yeah, man, there'll be some good football to watch this weekend, so I hope you enjoy the games. I know I'm going to be trying to enjoy the games.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on, Bear. Hopefully the rest of the knuckleheads are out Christmas shopping, and maybe we'll get together same time, same place next week. And, Only two bad things about living in Florida. Well, you might disagree. We don't see that much. You might see snow, but we don't see snow down here, and we don't have a basement.
So yeah, the basement thing is the same, but Florida, where you're at, you're in Orange County, right?
No, I'm in Southwest Florida.
Oh, you're in Southwest. I thought you were up in Duval. Where are you at?
I'm in Estero, halfway between Fort Myers and Naples.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm up here in the Panhandle. My weather is kind of like Jacksonville's. Um, so basically, if you take Orlando, if there's 60, I'm probably about 50. It's about a 10-degree difference in the winter. Last year, though, this year, this calendar year, last winter, last January, February, we had 10 inches of snow, which broke a 130-year-old record. Before that, since we moved up here, I saw a light dusting that melted by 9 a.m. once. That was about it. And I think I saw that living in Orlando for 1 year too. So, yeah, it's living here is in Florida in general. We don't see snow anywhere. I still ride my Harley in December, January, February. I mess with my buddies up in Chicago because they're like in November, December, October. Oh yeah, I got to winterize the bike. Oh yeah, how do you do that again? I said, well, first you got to do this. I said, well, no, wait a minute. I'm riding my bike until year round. Like, you mother. So, yeah, I mean, living down here in Florida, the winters are much better. If we do get cold, like today was extremely cold for us because the low this morning was 41. We're like, "What's this stuff, man? We're only in the 60s today. This is horrendous." It was still pretty nice out. But yeah, the fact that we don't have um basements here makes man caves a little bit harder. But you know what though? Like I said, in Florida, you get these nice big 2-car garages. I know a lot of people can, wall off. They take the garage door out, throw up a wall, and and they make garages their man caves, or they make like what I did here a man cave, or their office is their man cave. But yeah, the guys who get basements, up north, and their wives let them have the entire basement to do what they want, they suck.
Yeah, you know what happens to those basements? The husband always brings home a mistress.
There you go. Florida living, baby. All right, brother. I will see you next Tuesday.
All right, see ya. This is Ken the Bear fan and the Big D himself. Seeing you later.